I've been using Photoshop for over a decade, and there are certain techniques and tools that I use a lot when it comes to editing images. And some of these techniques I really thought you could not do in Canva. These were too advanced for the kinds of things you can do in Canva. Recently, I've discovered some different tools and apps within Canva that actually allow you to do these things. So based on my experience with how I've used these kind of tools in the past with Photoshop, I want to share with you how you can use these tools in Canva so that you can customize images and photos to turn them into exactly what you want. This really opens things up for you because it means if you find an image that is perfect except for maybe a few things not quite right, or there's something about it that you want to enhance or change, you can do that within Canva and you can create those images that you need. So let's get into Canva and take a look at just what you can do. Alright, so first up we're going to look at the cloning tool. So say for example you've got images like this and you don't want the text on it, or maybe you don't want the text here, or you've got something like this where you don't want the sticker on it. Now that wouldn't be something where you could just remove the background, that sort of typical thing on Canva. So what can we do? So what you're going to do is go to apps and look up cloning, and you want to get this one, the clone brush. So we're going to open clone brush. Then you're going to make sure that you've selected your image and you're going to go to select source. Now what you're going to do is choose the part of the image that you want to replicate. So we want more of this paper instead of the text. So we're going to click on just that paper. Now you can choose the brush size, so that depends on how small of an area. So if you want to do a really big area, you might want a bigger brush. If you're trying to do a little detailed area, you may want a smaller brush to get in that detail. And then feathering for the softness of it. So sometimes having a bit more feathering can make it less obvious that you've edited it. So you can play around with that as well. So what you're going to do is just start drawing over that area. So as you can see it very tiny. It might be hard to see here on this screen, but there's this little dot here of where it's selecting it from. So you can see where it's taking it from to then put it in there. And there you go, we've got rid of that. So let's say we wanted to go up here for this tiny text here. So this is very small, so that's why we want to put our brush size down, put our feathering down a bit so it doesn't go too big. We're going to click this reselect source, so now we're choosing from a different area. So let's choose this up here, that white, because it's bigger. So a bigger area is going to make sure that we're not accidentally hitting that blue line or anything like that, and it's not going to bring in something we don't want. So now we're just going to go in very carefully and remove that. Now say you had something where you want to extend a line. So maybe say, just get rid of this bit here. Say that it was missing something and you wanted to extend it. What you're going to do is select on that area where it is. And then basically you're just going to very carefully move across to extend it. Now this is probably the trickier one because as you can see there, if you move slightly off balance, it's not going to look like it's continuing on. So this is one where you need to just get in there really, really carefully and go through and try and get it right on that same spot. So as you can see, you can go back over and sort of correct it. And there we go, we've extended that out. So if there's something where you want to extend something, you can also use that clone brush to do that too. This can be used for quite a lot of things. So if you're trying to retouch a photo in any way, basically it's a retouching tool. So anytime when you want to retouch something where you remove something, extend something, add something out, that's where you want to be using this tool. So let's try it with this one here, with this envelope, getting rid of the stick. So we're going to open the clone brush, select source. Now, as you can see, because this one you can see a little bit better, that white round circle, if we start to come down, it starts to select part of that sticker there, and that's where you want to reselect source. So you may need to reselect a few times. If you've got an area that's very tight and this one you've got quite a lot of blue there to select from, but if you've got something where you're just trying to touch it up and there's not a lot to pull from, you may need to reselect source several times over to really get in there and get what you want. Now this is something that I used to do a lot in Photoshop, so it feels very familiar to me. If you haven't done that before, if this is something quite new to you, it may take a little bit of practice. If you've got something that's very detailed that you really need to get in there and really carefully do it. But take your time. If something doesn't work, get rid of it, start again, and also keep reselecting source to just keep. So see how down the bottom here, for example, it's a little bit darker, we might want to reselect source here because the shadow of it makes it a little bit darker, and maybe bringing down that light a bit, you can start to see you've done that. So see, we go down and select source down the dark area, we start to bring that shadow in. And so it starts to look less obvious what we've done. Now our next tool is the eraser. This is something they added recently and is a very handy tool. So of course we've got your background remover, but sometimes that doesn't do exactly what you are after. Sometimes you just need to remove a certain area on the page that's something small and it's not quite what you need. So for example, this image, when I go to background remover, it freaks out. It says, I can't find a background here. I'm like, I just want to get rid of this white. What can I do instead? So that's where we can use our eraser. So with the eraser, you've got the pixel eraser and magic eraser. So the pixel eraser is just like a normal rubber. You can just go in and start rubbing things out. So that can be handy if you just need to rub out certain sections and get rid of things. So anytime you've got something on the page, maybe you've done background remover, but there's extra elements or things on the page and you want to remove the extra bits that you didn't want, it's more than just the background, that's when the eraser tool is going to be very, very handy. Now of course, if you make a mistake, you can just click restore. And let's now try the magic eraser. So the magic eraser uses AI to try and help you find the bits that you might want to erase, to sort of make that process quicker so you're not manually trying to erase things. So when I go click here, what it's going to do is scan my image to try and find different elements. So say we wanted to get rid of this element here, we could just click on it and then click erase. So it's helping us sort of find bits and pieces to help get rid of things so that we're not having to try and manually do it. And see, now it's completely removed that one element. Now I've also got here Magic Brush, which is a little bit like Photoshop's Magic Wand, a little bit like it, not completely the same, but similar. So let's try this image because it's a little less complicated than the collage. So say we wanted to get rid of one of these eggs, you can see we can just click on it and then erase. And it's removed it first, but see, it leaves sort of a mark there. It's not perfect. You could do that, erase it, and then, if there's something that you need to edit, you could then go back and use the clone brush to tidy that up. So by doing that, it gets rid of most of it, makes it a lot easier. Then you can just sort of use that clone brush to do a tidy up. So you can definitely multi-use these tools too. If something is a bit complicated and you need multiple tools to achieve what you're trying to create. Now with this magic brush one here, we could brush onto just this bell here. We're trying to say we would like to get rid of that. We've got auto detect on. So you see now it's found that. So by using that brush, you're not having to try and very carefully get in there yourself and draw around it. You're sort of saying, this is the area I want to get rid of. Can you help me out and find what I'm trying to get rid of? And that auto detect is finding it for you. It also has here a text one. So if you had text on a page you're trying to get rid of, you can also try out the text one too. Now, something very interesting that I've never seen anybody mention before that it can also do is alter color by selecting different things. So if we choose here, click for example, and let's say we wanted to change the color of just this one item, you notice here this color box pops up. So we can click on that and then we can actually basically select a particular thing on the page and then color edit it, which can be very helpful too. So see, we can start playing with temperature and tint and brightness and all those sort of things where normally you think, you can only edit the whole image. Now we can actually select. So it's a bit like, as I said, like that magic wand in Photoshop where you can select part of your image and now you can do your color editing just on that one selection. Now I have noticed with this eraser thing with the color, it's hit and miss. Sometimes it will let you edit the color of things, other times it won't. So you may not always find it works with every image, but when it does, this can be a very helpful, handy tool. Now the next one, which is another thing that I previously thought you could only do in Photoshop, is the warp brush. So this is another one where you have to go to apps and find warp brush. So this one you probably want to get in fairly close to your image to see what you're doing. So say we wanted to alter my hair a bit, we could go to warp, brush down a little bit, and so we can start to pull. So say we wanted to make this hair a bit fuller, for example, we could just carefully pull it. If you wanted to lift my eyes up a bit so they looked slightly bigger, just pull. just slightly. This is the sort of thing where you don't want to go too over the top, otherwise it looks very obviously edited, unless that is what you were trying to create. If you want to, you know, do something funny, like a real caricature thing, or, you know, you're just editing something in a funny way, you can obviously do whatever you want. I really think the warp one is probably the most useful. I feel like grow and shrink is a bit more gimmicky. So we'll just cancel and start again and go into warp brush. You can also play with the strength and size of the brush. But this one, you can just really carefully move things. So if there's something in the image you want to shift slightly, you can use it just to make these subtle little shifts. See, because that's just fairly subtle, it's not obvious that you've done an edit, but maybe you just, you know, there's something in this image, maybe we just had to bring that hair in just slightly. It gives you that tool to make just those little subtle changes there. And maybe even like these pens, maybe I wanted them a bit longer. Look, I can just pull them a little bit and suddenly they look a little bit longer. Or we could make this candlestick look taller. That one is another very handy one that honestly I thought you could only do in Photoshop. So then we have textures and overlays. So let's say that we wanted to add some texture to this image. We're going to go to apps. Now this one is a pro one, by the way, and we're going to go to texture. We've got all these really cool textures that we can choose from. So you can really go in there and explore them. So let's say we want this linen texture. Now you've got a choice here of the overlay style, the blend mode. So you've got multiply, screen, and overlay, darken, lighten. These are all the types of overlay features that you had in Photoshop to overlay things on. So basically there's some pre-built textures in here and then you are choosing how you want to apply them. So this is really cool because it's a very easy way to add texture to your designs. And then when we play around with it, say like play around with the opacity, scale of it, you can really play around to create the kind of texture you want. So this could be very useful for making any sort of texture and making your images more interesting. So this could be really fun for really adding any kind of texture to your images. And the blend mode you choose really depends on what you're using it for and what you're trying to achieve with it. So play around with the different blend modes to sort of discover what's working best for your image. Sometimes different blend modes will work better for different images and also that finished look that you're trying to create. So for example, we wanted something dark like this speckled mist one. The multiply is going to look very dark, so you probably don't want that, whereas with the lighter textures, multiply can look really good. So this one we might want to do something like screen. So it's really about choosing the right blend mode for that texture and for the base image. Now you can see here too, it is very textured. We probably don't want that much. So that's when we want to probably put the opacity down just so we're adding that nice little bit of texture. Now if you want to add your own things for overlays, not just, you know, what they've got in here, that's when we can use the overlays. So you're going to look for this one, blend image. So what you're going to do is basically, what you're going to do is choose the two images you want. So make sure that they are on your page. So let's say I decided I want to blend these two. So we're going to select the image. Take note of which one you want to use for the bottom and which one you want to use for the top. So say we want to use this as our bottom, our base. So we're going to select that image, use selected image. Then we select our top one, use selected image. Now you're going to see a preview down the bottom here of how it will look. So that's where we want to choose our blend mode. That one looks pretty cool. So add to design. And there we go, there's our beautiful blended image. How cool does that look too? That turns out really cool. So have fun going that little bit further when it comes to editing your images and having the power to do things similar that you could do in Photoshop now in Canva. So next time you want to edit some imagery, make sure you try these techniques out. Now, if you do want to do more advanced things than this, remember that Canva also owns Affinity. So you can also download Affinity, which gives you more advanced tools if you want to be able to do even more advanced editing than this. Now, if you'd like to see more Canva tutorials, learn about branding and graphic design and creativity, be sure to subscribe and happy creating.